Hi, I'm Kristen. Most of you know me as a furniture flipper, painter, and home DIY enthusiast. I'm also known as the Broken Masterpiece. If you've been following my channel, you might have noticed my content slowing down over this past year and leaning more towards Amazon reviews than furniture flips. In June 2024, I began a life-changing journey, donating my kidney to a dear friend of mine from church named Casey. When I got the call confirming that I was both a blood type and tissue match, I knew this process would be significant. From that moment on, I started searching Google and YouTube for information, hoping to understand every step ahead of me. That's when I realized how important it was to document my own experience, not just for me, but to help others who might be considering donating their own. In this video, I'll share every step of the journey, my initial thoughts, the appointments, the surgery, and the recovery. I've even included chapters so if you're in the midst of your own donor process, you can skip to the part you need and find answers to your questions. My goal is to address common myths about kidney donation, ease any anxiety, and perhaps even inspire you to consider the possibility of saving someone's life. So let's get started. I found out probably 6 months ago that my friend was going to have to start dialysis because her kidneys were failing so badly. She's been battling kidney disease for years. Our church has prayed with her, for her, stood by her, and it was getting to the point where they were going to have to start looking for a kidney donation. Everyone in her family got tested. Certain blood types only receive kidneys or blood from other blood types. So if she's O positive and I'm O positive, it could potentially be a match. So when I heard that she's O positive and I knew my blood type, I said, why didn't you send me the paperwork for it? I'd be interested in even looking into this. At the time, I knew nothing about what it looked like and what the whole process looked like and what it's going to look like after. But I went through it, I signed up online, and I got a call probably within just a few weeks. And I answered a series of questions, just, hey, do you know about this? Can we educate you a little bit? Have you thought about these things? And it was really good information because I had no clue about the entire process. I don't think up until 3 months ago I would have ever considered being a kidney donator. I did not know that you could even donate a kidney. Some of you may. I thought it would completely have to change my diet and lifestyle. It does not. They've been doing live kidney donations since 1960, but in more recent years, they've had a lot more success with people donating that are not even blood related to the family. That's where I came into play. After that initial phone call with the transplant coordinator, they sent me a massive urinalysis jug in the mail, something my kids found absolutely hilarious because I had to collect my urine in it for a full 24 hours. Then I had to take it into the lab where they also drew 15 vials of blood. This is one of the most critical screenings in the donation process. From these tests, the transplant team determines if you and the recipient are a true blood and tissue match. It's a big step, and for many, this is the point where potential donors are ruled out. Close to 90,000 people this year are waiting for a kidney donation. 3 to 5 years is the average for someone who is waiting for a deceased donor's kidney. People who receive from a living donor have to wait usually less than a year. Not only that, but that kidney from a living donor lasts usually twice as long as than from a deceased donor. Question, can I live with one kidney? 100% yes. Do I have to change my diet? No. The kidney that gets left in my body actually starts growing. God made our bodies so crazy. So the kidney that I'm going to get left with is my right one. That kidney is going to start enlarging and doing the work that my left kidney was doing and kind of taking over for it. So it enlarges. And that's what my left kidney is going to do inside my friend's body. It's going to be put in. The other kidneys are going to be staying put. It's going to be put in and it's going to enlarge and increase to do the work that it needs to do to filter all the waste through her body. So my remaining kidney will increase in size and take over the function of the other kidney. How crazy is that? I don't have to change anything about my diet. There's nothing I can't eat. There's not much that's going to change about my lifestyle. After the recovery, I'm going to be able to go back to working out, fitness training, walking my dogs, raising my kids, driving. There really isn't anything negative that's going to come from me other than I can't take ibuprofen, but I can take Tylenol. Does this affect my life expectancy? No. They've been doing this for a long time now. And so they've gotten a lot of good statistics on it, and donating a kidney does not affect your life expectancy whatsoever. You do lose 35% of your kidney function, but I'm going to be okay. My GFR, which is my filtering rate, was actually hyperfiltration. So it was filtering at a rate of 160 milliliters per minute, while my friend's was only filtering at 6. Normal kidney filtration is 120 milliliters per minute. And so if I lose 35% of that 160, I'm still going to be okay. What happens if my kidney fails or I get in an accident in a year and I need a kidney? Well, guess what? I go to the top of the donation list. Isn't that crazy? So anyone who donates a kidney actually gets top priority if anything ever happens to their remaining kidney. And a lot of the testing that they do beforehand helps rule you out for potentially ever developing any sort of kidney disease. And so my rate of in 15 to 20 years of ever developing kidney disease is like 0.00006. And then after donating a kidney, it goes up to 0.00012. So I am a really good candidate for donating a kidney because in my genetics, in my body, in my blood type, all of that, there's no indication that I will ever develop kidney disease. Family matches are predominantly what's used for living donation, but I'm one of 6 kids in my family. I have 3 children. What does recovery look like? Well, I'm supposed to be in the hospital for about 2 to 3 days after surgery, and then after that it's a 2-week recovery at home, and then after that it's 2 months of no heavy lifting. I am going to go from 2 kidneys down to 1 kidney, and I will feel like I've been hit by a truck when I wake up. But there's nothing a little Dilaudid can't handle. Unrelated donors are much less likely to have a match. So to be approved as a match for someone that I met 4 years ago that attends my church is one of the coolest things that I've ever been a part of. I'm humbled and honored to be able to fulfill this role. I'm excited to have you guys being my prayer partners and helping spread the word that anyone can be a living donor. I am at appointments all day today at Atrium in Uptown, so they tried to schedule them all together because I live like 35 minutes away. The first one's just like a nurse visit. They took my vitals, they took my temperature. The doctor's gonna come in, ask me, I don't know. There's a big poster on the wall that shows exactly what a kidney transplant looks like. I'm kind of like studying it. But yeah, I meet with the dietitian today. I meet with the surgeon just to like talk about it. I think today's just a lot of talking and just making sure that I'm healthy. Next week I have a CT scan. I have a video consult tomorrow with an MD. I don't know who. And then the following Friday I have a consultation with my husband to make sure that he's on board. Yeah, so it seems pretty straightforward. Once you're approved, once you're like a blood match, it like moves pretty quickly. So I'm here and I'll keep you guys posted. Here's this chart that I've been staring at. Here's the kidneys. So the CT scan is going to show how many arteries. I might have more than that they like which one to take. Here's the incisions they go through. Isn't that crazy? Update, got a little lightheaded after giving blood, but it's probably because I haven't eaten anything today. So I just gave blood. They took like 8 vials and they are trying to get my CT scan scheduled in the same day, and I'm just about to see the dietitian. Hopefully she approves of my raw bar. Okay, so good news. I'm up at the hospital and seriously like, so I've got the IV in, there's no needle, so they just stuck it right in there, see? So I'm doing a CT scan with contrast, which I've never done before, but you just have to lay still and listen to when they tell you to breathe and not breathe. They tried to stick me in this arm, but my vein was not cooperating. If you don't like needles, it is what it is. But seriously, I feel like when you're a donor, they treat you so nice. Like they're just like, thanks so much for being here. And I'm like, okay. And they were able to fit me in for this scan. I don't have to come back next week for it. So everybody's just been super nice. It's very relaxed. I'm enjoying myself. I still got my coffee and my water. I got snacks. I got my lunch pail in the car. So it's great. So everything's going good. All right, I'm on my way to my appointment. Up in the city, it's the 4-hour chlorophyll test. And I had issues this morning, just like, what do I wear? Well, I want to be warm for 4 hours. How much coffee can I drink? That's going to dehydrate me. How much water do I need to drink so they don't have to stick a catheter in me? I don't really know what the chlorophyll test is because there was competing information online. And so I think they're drawing my blood, and I think I have to pee like every hour. And if I don't pee, they got to stick a catheter in me. So this should be fun. And we're leaving for the beach at 2 o'clock. Cheers. Okay, I don't know why I'm so nervous. I think because I keep thinking about it and I'm like, why? I'm like worked up today. I'm like slightly manic. I'm just like, nothing's popping off here. I'm trying to get my way to the city. I think because it's like a really big deal today. This is the last test. I kind of don't know what to expect. This is honestly going to dictate whether I'm going for major surgery or not. This is going to dictate the next month and a half, next 2 months. So I think that unknown like always makes you anxious, you know, where you just don't know what's coming. And it literally is a 50-50. Either my kidney is perfect for her body or it's not. And I'm just continuing to pray that, like, I've gotten this far in the process. I had to so mentally like get myself like ready to do this that I think I'm gonna be like bummed if I'm disqualified now, you know, because my friend needs it. She just started dialysis again, and dialysis sucks. So I am hopeful. I'm praying and just trusting in the Lord, because He's got this. Like, I've gotten this far in the process, and it's so random. So random. My bag just spilled all over the car. Gonna go. I just drank all this, and this is my second one this morning. I have to pee so bad. I just checked in at the wrong place. I gotta go down to 3rd floor and go over to radiology for the glow fill. Hey guys, all right, so I'm here for the glow fill test. Now, I totally went to the wrong office, but it is a part of nuclear radiology. And so that's where I am. I've got a big comfy chair right now. I've got my snacks, I've got my water. I'm sitting here on laptop working on my next YouTube video, which is about painting cabinets. And I just took a non-radioactive iodine pill to protect my thyroid, and then drank water with that. And then that has to kind of like chill with me for an hour. And then after that, I get hooked up to an IV pretty soon. And then I do get the radioactive iodine. And then after that, like every 30 minutes to an hour, they will take a blood sample and a urine sample, and I'll stay hooked up to an IV. And then at the end, they'll do a scan to see like kind of the filtration of like each kidney. So that is what the glow fill test is. So I'll let you know throughout the day how it goes. Hey guys, I'm gonna do an update since yesterday's appointment. So the glow fill was great. I'll explain it more in detail, but so today I'm just waiting, right? And sometimes they update your like my chart before you actually like get to speak to a doctor. So by like 9 a.m. this morning, I had already diagnosed myself with like diabetes because of the GFR rate. But basically it said that my left kidney is filtering at 44% and my right kidney is filtering at 56%. And that's just all it said. And then the GFR said that I am at 160 milliliters per minute and something else. But with the 160, I like checked that out because I'm like, what's normal GFR? And it's around 120. So my GFR is high, and it's called hyperfiltration. So I'm just hyper in a lot of things, apparently. So are my kidneys. And I've just been waiting and praying and asking people to pray. And the transplant coordinator called me around noon today, and she asked if I had seen the results. I said yes. And she said, typically the cutoff for what they approve for surgery is 45% left, 55% right, or any other split, right? And mine's just one off, but she's like, everything else looks great. So I'm going to run it by my team. I'm going to speak to the doctor soon, and then we're going to present your case next week. And I was like, okay, let me know. Well, she calls me back like 2 hours later. I was in the middle of a nap, and she was like, so my team says it's fine. They really think because of all your labs and everything else, your GFR is really high, that it'll be great. But we do have to put it before the medical board. And I was like, okay, so you're saying it's probably a go. She's like, yep. And because I did all the other testing, got that out of the way, we can schedule like soon, like September, possibly. So that's what I'm pushing for, because I've got a conference in October. I've got a conference in October to go to in Waco, Texas, and I want to be able to make it to that. It's a bunch of content creators and YouTubers and whatnot, and so I'm hoping I can still make it to that. But yeah, so that's the update. I'm feeling excited. I was going to be super bummed if I'm disqualified at this point, like after all this testing, and just like, my friend Casey is on dialysis. Just to give you a little perspective, like my GFR rate is 160 milliliters. I have hyperfiltration. My kidneys filter all the stuff in my blood, filter all the urine, like they function rapidly. Her GFR rate is 6.7 milliliters per minute. which is basically non-functioning, which is why she's on dialysis. And dialysis sucks. Like, you sit there for 5 hours and it's like awful. They take your blood out of your body and they wash it and then they put it back in your body. Like, it's awful. And she's not feeling great. So I'm like so humbled, like, that I potentially like get to do this, and I'm pretty sure it's a go. So feeling great. I reached out to some prayer partners today, and just between the phone calls of like, hey, I don't know if my left kidney functions enough for them to do it. Just pray that like I get approved based on everything else. And so yeah, looks like it's a go, which means like, I know I sound excited, but I'm just like so excited because she's gonna feel so much better. And this has been years in the making, and I'll be like, it'll be like a few days for me that I feel like crud and it'll be fine. Like I'm so down for a few naps, right? So it'll be fine, but I'm pumped. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me, but I just got the call and I am like so humbled and honored. They approved me, and my first phone call was to Casey, who will be receiving my kidney, and she just started crying, and she's sitting in dialysis. I could hear all the machines, and she just was like, I can't thank you enough. Dialysis has been really rough. So I'm just like so excited to be a part of this, and I'm so excited for her. Like, this is, I still can't even believe like that this is just so random but so God ordained, and I am honored to like be the person who's been just stewarding her kidney. And yeah, so many thoughts. Yeah, I'm on a golf course. This is Casey, and we got to do our pre-op appointments together, and I got to meet Lori, my transplant coordinator that I had been talking to on the phone and through emails for months. It was so fun. The weeks leading up to surgery, I got everything done that I needed to do around the house, and then we went in for extra labs the week before surgery to make sure that everything was still the same. They do another cross-match, another chest x-ray, and they make sure that everything has stayed the same and is on course. Something crazy. So they're going to go in 3 inches above my belly button, and then 2 laparoscopic pulls there to pull my left kidney out. Then on Casey's body, they're going to leave her 2 kidneys, and they're going to make a big incision here, and they're going to install my kidney right on that, whatever this is called. Isn't that crazy? They only remove these if they get cancerous or polycystic. But yeah, they leave them in there and they just add mine into her body. Nuts! The body is crazy. We're here.
We love that.
5 in the morning. The boys got their coffee. We're gonna be taking naps soon, so we don't need any more coffee. Right. I got some compression sleeves for my legs to keep the blood flowing in this weird inflatable blanket that keeps pumping warm air. Apparently, it decreases infection when your body temperature is higher going into surgery. One of the things to note is that we had quite a few different doctors, nurse practitioners, and a whole team working on both mine and Casey's behalf. She was wheeled back 1 hour after me, and they took the kidney straight from my body across the hallway into her operating room and placed it inside her body. She had her kidney surgery team, and I had mine. This process was so fluid and efficient. I felt like the entire team at Atrium Health in Charlotte prepared me so well for what was to be expected. There was no surprises along the way, even after recovery. Second day after surgery, and I'm exhausted. My body hurts. My stomach hurts, but everything's good. Happy. Nurses are taking great care of me. I've got IV lines and blood draws, but my creatinine like barely went up at all, which is so cool. So cool. And my husband's bringing me a heating blanket to help with the gas pain. All right, day 2. I'm in the hospital. Well, the next day, and it's been going really great. They figured out the patch that they put on the back of my ear was causing like double vision, because it can, and I was like so confused why I couldn't see. But now I got this thing and it hurts so bad. I have to just suck in air and then get the ball to rise. And the gas pain that's up in here, yeah, it's real. It's real. But I'm doing good. I can't wait to see Casey, and yeah, just want to give an update.
So it's right.
Okay.
So this is kidney, spleen, liver, kidney.
Wow.
Kidney. These are the blood vessels.
Wow.
This is us looking through the camera there. He cut the urine tube, and then
What is that?
that's his finger.
Oh,
That's his finger.
what does it say?
And then there's a sponge back there, which we took out. We counted 4
Thank
times. So I always say, hide the sponge because it always makes me. We
Yeah.
took the sponge out, cut the urine tube, urine.
Okay.
So now this is where the kidney used to be.
Okay.
That's the spleen. Kidney, spleen. Kidney used to be there. Spleen.
Okay.
This is kind of an empty. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Those are the blood vessels that are kind of pulling up.
Awesome. Seeing Casey and her family after the surgery is a memory I will cherish forever. It was such a joyful, heartwarming moment, celebrating a successful surgery together in the hospital. Truly a core memory for me. Part of recovery involved walking laps around the hospital floor every few hours to get my body functioning again. I had so many visitors, which I absolutely loved, and it made the experience so much brighter. One thing they prepared me for, and they weren't kidding, was the post-surgery bloating from the gas used during the procedure. I looked about 6 months pregnant, and honestly, the gas pain was the most uncomfortable part. Having a support person to gently massage my clavicle area and back made all the difference, along with heat packs. I would really like to thank my husband and my mom for being these people. I also had to use a breathing device to help improve my lung function after surgery. My incisions looked pretty standard, and by day 3, I was able to go home. Thankfully, I have an amazing support system waiting for me, which made the transition so much easier. All right, this is day, I don't even know what day it is, 5. After having an organ removed from my body. This is just from the adhesive. I can probably take this off. The adhesive on the bandage like wrecked my skin. It started bubbling it and tearing it away, like blistering it. It was awful. This is the big old incision where they pulled my kidney out. This was the laparoscopic camera and scope, whatever they did, the tools. And then this is where they pulled the left kidney out from. So yeah, it's a little swollen still, a little bit of gas still, but just like overall incision swell. So it's starting to itch a little bit, but I just got to keep this area clean. I can shower. But it doesn't feel too bad. I just feel like exhausted. You guys, I want to show you that's Wednesday. I had surgery last Thursday. And look what I can do, okay? Look what I can do. I forgot I'm supposed to breathe then. I could hardly get it up to the smiley face when I was doing it in the hospital and when I got home. My lungs can inflate the whole way. So cool. This is 1 week out. Not loving that dimple right there. My friend Danny came into town from Phoenix, Arizona to care for me for 4 days. We ended up being able to do some of the Amazon reviews that I was behind on. I rested a lot while she cooked and cleaned and took care of my kids, and it was wonderful. This is 2 weeks now. I get to remove the steri strips. Like the adhesive from the hospital.
Usually it doesn't. Over here. Yeah, usually it doesn't. And it's so funny. It happens particularly with our donors, and it's
Really?
just kind of weird. Yeah. That we notice that there's sometimes just a little blister that pops up, and we're like, oh my gosh. And we've changed kind of our dressing protocol multiple times.
Yeah.
It's just kind of something that happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean that up a little bit so you just stay still.
Right outside the lobby at my 2-week appointment, I got to see Casey, and it was the best reunion ever.
You guys, I was surprised. Guess who I got to see? And I had my 2-week follow-up today, and this is Casey, you guys. I know you saw pictures of her last time, but how are you doing?
Doing great. Numbers are great. Kidneys working great. Praise the Lord. And we're just happy. I'm feeling better than I felt in years. So look, I lost a lot of weight there, and water weight. So it's just, God is so good. And I just love this girl so much. She's my forever sister.
And I just got my steri strips out, so yay for healing scars. But we're scarred up, but for a good purpose. So I'll do it again tomorrow.
I would too.
Thank you all for praying.
Then I got to go out for the first time the next day with my family. I continued to do more and more Amazon reviews, especially clothes, because I needed clothes that were comfortable for this season. And I got to fly all the way to Dallas, Texas to go to Waco for a conference for content creation with all of my DIY besties. I had to be careful to make sure I wasn't lifting anything heavy, and by this point I was off all narcotics and just on Tylenol. At around 3 weeks, I suffered from adrenal fatigue. Apparently, with left-sided kidney donations, you can suffer from a bit of that, but if you have high protein, magnesium, and zinc, it can really help. Casey and I made it to 1 month out of surgery, and both of us were doing well, and our numbers were increasingly going in a good direction. There's absolute fatigue during recovery, so just plan on that for about 2 months. I nap a lot. I actually sleep a lot at night, but I also take some naps during the day. I drink a ton of water now, and I'm really cautious with my body. I did start hot yoga about week 5 just to get my body moving again before I can start lifting weights at 2 weeks or 2 months out. I'm going to leave you with a testimony that Casey and I got to share in front of our church. Now, I'm the pastor's wife of the church, and she's one of our elders' wives. And it was so cool that we got to share with our community the week before we had surgery so that they could all be praying for us.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I feel like I've been up here a lot lately, so we're not going to keep this a normal thing. So after this Sunday, this will be it for a while. But anyways, I just want to recap. I shared the last time, and Kristen thought it would be good to kind of give a recap. In October 2019, I had a biopsy and found out that I had a rare kidney disease. It was autoimmune, and it was attacking my kidneys, causing them not to be able to function normally. And so over time, that autoimmune was going to wear my kidneys out, and I would have no kidney function. Over the course of the next 3 years, doctor tried medications, nothing worked. And at one point, he even said, "Hey, you are just not a typical IgA patient. Out of the IgA patients that I have, you just are not responding to anything." I was like, "Oh, yay, great, thanks." So anyways, but, you know, I had faith. I continued to pray. I continued to believe in a miraculous healing. Was pretty much determined that that was going to happen. So, but it was not meant to be. And so over time, it just continued to get worse. At the same time, I want to give you a little extra nugget to this. At the same time, me and my family were a part of a church plant called Chapel. And over the course of 5 years, my family, along with 5 or 6 other families, as well as a very committed group of youth, which was amazing, fairly large considering the size of our church. We met every Sunday service and held a weekly youth meeting. And in November of 2020, that pastor decided it was best for him and his family to move to Tennessee. So one of the families at Chapel, the Taylors, were like, "Hey, we visited this church with some friends of ours. I really think y'all would like it." And so we all decided to go give it a shot. So the Sunday that everybody was going to go together from Chapel, our family was out of town, so we didn't get to make it. So we came back to town a couple weekends later. We finally made it to
Kate's Skating Rink.
Yes,
Do y'all remember
Kate's
that
Skating
place?
Rink. Very good.
We were there for a year.
That's where that's the first time we went to 704.
And they stayed.
And we stayed, and it was amazing. We walked in, it was like, "The Bakers are here," and I'm like, "Do I know you?" But everybody was so welcoming, and it was just amazing, amazing to get to meet the people and everything. And Kristen was one of the first ones to come up to me, and Chelsea and Amanda Wilkins, and just, it was just a very memorable day, because I had never been to a church that was like that, hospital, honestly. So anyways, we knew we were going to continue to come to 704. During this time, the kidney disease was continuing to wreak havoc, and I was continuing to decline, and my kidneys were continuing to fail. So my doctor was like, "It's time to start looking for a transplant, or doing the transplant evaluation." So I was like, "Okay." So we started that. That was in July of 2023. No, sorry, that was in December of 2022. So anyways, we had to start a long journey of the evaluation. It was rigorous testing. I had to make sure my heart was healthy, my lungs were healthy, everything else was healthy. There was no cancers, anything like that. So we went through all that, and he was like, "I want to try to get your transplant before that. You have to go on dialysis." And I was like, "Okay." And so he was like, "Do you have any chance of living donors?" I was like, "I don't know, And so went through a little more time passed for the evaluation. It took about 6 months, and people like Kristen and some others were like, "So where are you at in your journey?" And I was like, "Well, I got to start considering transplant." And Kristen was like, "Okay."
She says it with a smile on her face. She'd be feeling terrible. She'd still show up every Sunday and just be like, "I'm okay. I'm not feeling great, but yeah, so this is the next step." And just like, what?
Yeah, I honestly was wondering, I felt like I wasn't felt coming across that
Joyful.
way. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so but she had come up to me and she was like, "Hey, if you need one, I'll give you one," just like that. I was like, "Oh, okay. Are you sure?" Like, it's a big deal.
I didn't even know you could give one of your kidneys. I thought that you had to get it from someone who had passed. And so when she had told me initially, like, yeah, so while my family's getting tested, you can actually only live with one kidney and you're fine. And I'm like, wait, what? So what do you have to do to, like, get this? Like, do you have to be family, like DNA matched? She said, no, you actually just have to be a blood type match and a tissue match. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So some time passed because I wasn't quite there. I wasn't on with my evaluation when she had asked me and others had asked me. So I wasn't actively passing out like the questionnaires or sending the links or anything at that time. So of course I was putting it off. And so time passed. I ended up kind of, I think, going a little quicker than my doctor, thought. And so he was like, "Let's time to do dialysis." And I was like, darn it. And he was like, "You really need to get those living donors going." I was like, okay. But I was feeling good at the time. So it was like, but I feel really good right now where I am. The medicines are working. I know my kidneys aren't working great, but you got me feeling pretty good. So I felt bad going up to people saying, "Hey, I need a kidney," because I felt good. And so I just was like, I didn't want to, just have to do that. So anyway, again, I kind of was like, okay, I will, but I didn't actively start putting it on social media or anything like that. Again, Kristen comes up to me and she's like, "Have you heard anything? Is it time to start?" And I'm like, "Well, actually, yeah, it is."
Send me the link, Casey.
And so I did, and I had sent it. I had about 6 people, including Kristen, that were actively filling out the questionnaire and going through the process. So I started sending these out. I sent one to Kristen, sent one to several other people, and I just let it go. I'm like, it's in your hands, God. It's in the people's hands that are doing it. You've got this all worked out. So.
Meanwhile, she had to start dialysis. And dialysis, if you don't know, is one of the worst things. You have to go sit in a room with no one else for 4 hours at a time, multiple days during the week, and it's just beeping and noises, and it's this big open room, and it's just not. And you get poked and prodded, and it's just terrible. So meanwhile, I fill this out. This is the end of May, and then June, I'm on a trip with the Von Houstons. We're out in Dallas, and I get a phone call. And it was the transplant coordinator who I actually got to meet. We got to meet on Friday. Mm-hmm. And she said, "Hey, I got it. Everything looks good on your questionnaire and the form you filled out. I'm going to send you some stuff that you need to send back and then come in for labs." And I said, "Okay, cool." So, and then we started talking, because I hadn't even told Dad. It's not, because it's the randomness, you guys, that normally family is a match. At least siblings are 50% match. Your parents sometimes is more than a 50% match. And all of those at that point had gotten disqualified. There was something that wasn't lining up, wasn't a blood type match, wasn't a tissue match. And so I was like, what would be the chances? But God. So I filled it out. I did the urinalysis and the blood sample. And it was just waiting, because that was the big one, was when we put your blood and Casey's blood together on a screen, is it going to have a reaction? If it does, your kidney's not going to take in her body, right? They called a week later, and they're like, "So, it didn't have a reaction." And your kidney levels of everything that I had to get tested for, and it's very thorough, so I know more about my body than I ever cared to. She was like, "Your rate of ever developing any sort of kidney disease in your future, even after we take your one kidney, is 0.00012. I'm like, "Oh, good to know." So I can live with one. I don't have to change anything after I donate one. If anything ever happens to me in the future, I go to the top of the list for donation. I'm like, this is an easy yes. Easy yes. God's got this. If I'm actually a match. So many other tests had to be done, right? Mm-hmm. So it was and I'm just keeping her apprised. She's not asking me at all. She's just in the middle of dialysis and just trying to just stay faithful to all right, Lord. And I'm over here going I'm calling, just let's get these tests done. We got to get going on this. So I go in, it's EKG, chest scans, CT scans. And then they figured out that one of my kidneys, because I was born with this condition that my mom didn't even tell me about. Hi, Mom. Till I was in my 30s. I don't know if you guys have a mom. I love my mom. She was like, "I told you about this." And I go, "No, you didn't." It's called hemihypertrophy. Anybody ever heard of it? Apparently it affects your kidneys too. So one side of my body was born slightly smaller than the other. I'm so glad I didn't know until my 30s because it didn't affect my confidence in high school, and I'm so glad that I didn't know. But apparently, one of my kidneys, I mostly grew out of it, she says. One of my kidneys is slightly smaller than the other. And so then it was this hang up of like, okay, God, you can even like, not like he grew my kidney in the last couple of weeks. He didn't. But guess what? This little kidney filters at a very high rate. This one filters at 44% and 56%. I had to get injected with this radioactive glow dye for them to like tell me that. And my GFR, so Casey's GFR is what?
6.
Normal GFR, which is your milliliters per minute, is 120, okay? So her kidneys are literally not functioning. That's why she goes in and machine helps her kidneys function so that she can live every day, right? Mm-hmm. So my GFR, guess what it is? 160. I do everything fast, everything. So Casey's hoping to get some of my energy, and that's hoping that she gets some of my energy.
Yes. Yeah, and some of that energy. Some of that
She's going to start talking faster. I'm going to start talking slower. It's going to be great for my YouTube channel. It's going to be fun. So I was like, I'm going to lose 35% of my kidney function, right? Like permanently. Fine. It'll put me down to normal, so I'll be like a little bit more chill around you guys and not so like excitable. It'll be great. It'll be great. Dad's dying up here.
Oh, goodness.
Anyways, you guys, so I'm going through this testing, and it's, hey, normally we only take kidneys if they're at a 45%. And I'm like, oh, I'm one off. And she's like, but I'm going to present it to my team, and I'm going to call you back. Okay. So I'm with my family on vacation, and I'm like, all right, so I like leave my phone on, and I get this phone call, and it's like, my team approved you, but we still have to put it before the whole surgeon team, medical staff, all that. It's going to be a week from now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm texting Casey, I'm texting the elders, like, all right, you all pray, because I am like 1 point off, but I've got this really high GFR. Like, come on, like God's brought me this far. Like, come on, Lord.
And if I can interject, because of when she's been upfront with everything. When she told me that, I have to be honest. I have to be transparent with you guys. Like, every step of the way with this, the things that were high probability that would help did not help. Everything. Every step was, oh, we're going to try this, and this should put you in remission, or this should, just help you to be able to hold on to your kidneys for longer. And, like, every step of the way, it was like, nope, that didn't work. Nope, that didn't work. So when she told me that, I was like, this is it. This is that. Nope, this ain't going to work. So go ahead.
And I said, we were at a wedding, and I said, I'm going to stand in faith that this is your kidney. I've just been harvesting it for you. And I'm going to call it Casey's kidney right now, because I don't need it. It doesn't need to belong in my body. It needs to come to yours. And so I'm going to stand in faith for that right now, because sometimes we got to hold each other's arms up, do we not?
Yes.
Because sometimes our faith struggles, right? And we got to stand in that hope, and we need people alongside us. That's why we're in community, you guys.
Yes.
So fast forward a week. I'm on the golf course. We're at a pastor's retreat. And I get the phone call. I knew when the meeting was, and I get the phone call, and I just broke down. It was just like, it's happening. And they said, you've been approved. Let's get surgery scheduled. And I'm like, what? So I call Casey. I'm in there, and I'm like shaking, and I get to make the phone call, you guys. It was the coolest thing to be a part of. And you're in the middle of?
Dialysis, a bad day.
I'm hearing blinking noises. And
it was awful. It was one of the worst days of dialysis. They weren't fighting my vein. They were, it was called infiltration, where they go through your vein and the blood's pouring into my arm, and it was burning, and the guy was trying to do his best, and I was being brave, and I was just sucking it up. And she calls, and I could tell immediately when I heard her voice. I'm
a little excitable.
And I lost it. I mean, I just was like, what is going to happen? And I'm crying, and the guy.
She announces to the people around her, I'm getting a kidney.
Yeah, and like all these people that are connected to dialysis that are like, they're just, most of those people are not going to be getting a kidney. Most of those people are on dialysis until they pass. So I'm over here like, I'm getting a kidney. And I'm like, and the guy that was cannulating me, he's losing it. And he's like, I've never had this happen. This is awesome. So anyways.
It just was amazing to be a part of. We just praised the Lord for it. And I just want to say, like, it's been the oddest thing having so much peace and joy throughout this whole thing. That is how you know it's the Lord. When he keeps just saying yes, and he keeps saying yes, and so you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what this radioactive glow dye is going to make me glow in the dark. Like, I don't know what they're putting in me, but I trust God, right? Like, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and standing in faith. And you guys, y'all get to witness a miracle because this Thursday, Casey's getting my kidney in her body. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
He worked all things out.
Yes.
He took down every bridge that tried to get in the way. He took down every wall, not bridge. He took down every wall that tried to stand in the way of this. And Casey gets a kidney, and she's going to be feeling like $1 million. And I'll be fine. And I'm telling you, the peace and joy, I just want you to know, like, all of that comes from the Lord. And it's not like I haven't been scared. It did start hitting me about a week ago, okay? Like, it did start hitting me that they're going to cut into my stomach, and I'm going to have 2 laparoscopic and an incision right here, and they're going to float all my organs out of the way because your kidneys are in the back of your body. I'm like, why don't you go in the back? Okay. And they're going to attach it into Casey's right hip. So they're actually going to leave her 2 kidneys and put my kidney right on this vein inside there. And so we're both going to be in surgery. They're going to take me back an hour before. She's got her own surgeon team. I've got mine. We're going to be on the 7th floor at Atrium, Maine. And so, like, if you work around there, if you're around there, like, just extend your hand and, like, pray for us on Thursday and the following days. Big prayers for her because she is going to be immunocompromised after. They have to kill her immune system so that this kidney takes and that there's no rejection. And so that's what you guys need to be praying for. I will be fine. I know that I will be fine. And I am standing in faith like when Jehoshaphat, this is what the Lord brought to mind a week ago. When he had to face that army that was like massive, he said, I don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you. And that's how I feel about all this. Whatever my health's going to look like after this, whatever hers is going to look like, for we don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you, God. And we are going to trust that right now. And y'all in here who says like, oh my gosh, you're my hero. No, you guys. I just said, yes, this is my hero right here. She has dealt with this for 4 years. And this was the easiest yes, because she has dealt with this for 4 years and stayed so faithful and so joy-filled. And just knowing God's got this, I think we're going to pray for this whole thing that's happening, yeah?
I'm going to pray for you guys. Would y'all extend a hand too? God, we praise you because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God, we pray just gratitude for all the stories we've heard today, but especially for your goodness and grace in the life of Casey and Kristen, the mercy that you've extended to them. God, we pray specifically now in the last few days that you would give skill to the surgeons, you would give peace to Kristen and Casey. God, give peace to their families. God, I praise you for this community, the amount of people that are bringing meals and asking how they can help. I don't know how we would do this apart from a community, and you've created us for that, and it is a wonderful sight to behold. God, I thank you for Casey's heart and just her posture in all this. I know that you see that, and just praying for her of just the humility and not pushy and just going with what you're doing and not asking a lot of questions, being okay with being frustrated and being disappointed when one thing might work and then it doesn't, and another thing and another thing. And so, God, we pray for favor right now. She's your daughter, and you love her, and you enjoy her. She brings you delight. So, God, we pray right now for this to be good. God, we do all this for your glory. We thank you for the stories that are going to come from this. And we'll just praise you more. We ask all this in your name. Amen.